Hello kids, this video is for grade 9, day 20, chapter 3 and the topic is coordinate geometry. In the last video, we learned about the sign of the coordinates in the various quadrant, right? To just give a recap of it, in the first quadrant, x, y both are positive. In the second quadrant, the x is negative, the y is positive. In the third quadrant, the x and y both are negative, and in the fourth quadrant, we have x positive and y negative, right? So let's solve a question based on that. The question is here. Suppose the question given over here is that question is represent the following points in a plane. In a graph sheet I need to represent. The points are P is -3, 2, then Q is -2, 8, R is 1, 5, S is -3, -1, and let's make it 5. -2 and 5. And T is 0, -6, U is 5, -8, -2, V is 0, 3, W is 5, 0, X is -3, 0, and Y is 0, 0, and Z is your, suppose Z I have as -2 and 1. So these are the points which I need to represent. As you can see that all are represented by capital letters, and the first number always represent the x-axis and the second is always represented on the y-axis. So let's see how to represent. First, as per my convenience, I will draw a Cartesian plane, right? That should be as per my convenience. So here I am drawing a Cartesian plane. Here I am marking from here. It's not always important to divide it in 4 equal parts. I can take any line as axis depending on the number which are given in the question, right? So depending on the number given on the question. Here I am marking by arrow just to show that we can increase it further. This is my origin. Now this is my x-axis, this is my x dash axis, this is my y-axis, this is my y dash. It's always advisable to use pencil while drawing the graph or construction also. Now my first point is, we know that this is my first quadrant, this is second, this is third, this is fourth, right? Now the first point is -3 and 2. The x coordinate, let me mark all the line also. Scaling, here also I am taking one large block as 1 unit. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6, -7. Similarly, I'll mark the negative also. We know that here we have positive numbers, so it will be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And for the y, it will be -1. As you can see that always we are starting with 1 or either -1. So -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6, -7, -8, -9, -10. So I did it like that. Let me do the scaling part also, which is the most important part. Scaling for x and y, both axes, I have done the same thing. So here I'll write 1 large division. We have 1 large block equals to 1 unit. So here what I have considered, 1 large block, this is my entire block, and in case of y also I have done the same thing, that is 1 large block equals to 1 unit. That is, here I have taken 1. So scaling I have done like this. Now my first point is p equals to -3, p -3, 2. We know that the first one is always the x1 and the second one is always the y1, y coordinate. So in a point, if it is given like that, the first number is your x coordinate and the second number is your y coordinate. So let's see on the number line where you have -3, because I have to represent -3. Oh, got it. Here I have -3, right? Here I have -3. Now you don't have only -3, you have 2 also along with you. So let's check on the y-axis where you have 2. Here I have 2 and here I have -3. Now how to represent? Shall I join this? No, you don't have to join this. The moment you got 3, draw a perpendicular line on the x-axis and you have to reach here. So see whether both the line will meet. So if I draw a perpendicular line like this, and this is my 3 and this is my 2. So both are meeting at where? This point. So this point is p equals to -3 and 2. So this is my required point, right? So you just have to show it using dotted lines, because always we represent the real line with the solid lines. These are the imaginary lines. That's why I have represented using dotted lines. So this is how we represent point P. Let's talk about the next point, Q, which is -2. Now the value of x is -2 and the value of x is -2, which is somehow here, and the value of y is what here? 5. So 5 is here and 2 is here. So let's take a walk to 5. So I'll just join it using a dotted line. 5. So this I'll represent it using a dot, and I'll just write the coordinate over here. This is the right way to represent any points using coordinates. So this is my Q. The next point is R equals to 1 and 5. So now x is your 1 and y is your 5, right? So let's start with x. So I'll draw a perpendicular line. So this point, here I am supposed to sharpen my pencil. As you can see the end of it, I don't have sharpener right now. So this is point R. the next point is S, which is minus 3 and minus 1. So the value of X is what? Minus 3, and the value of Y is what? Minus 1. So this is my Y, and the minus 1 comes here, and the value of X is 3. So I'll start moving from 3, and I'll move towards the Y equals to minus 1. So here this point is S equals to minus 3 minus 1, right? The next point is T, 0 and minus 6. Now the value of X coordinate over here is how much? 0, which means I'll be here only. Y is what? Minus 6. So I'll start my journey from here and I'll move here. So this point will not lie on any of the quadrant. This will lie on the negative Y axis, and this is my T, which is 0 and minus 6. The next one is that U is 5 and minus 2. So X is 5 and Y is how much? Minus 2. So here is my minus 2. So this is my minus 2, which is the negative Y, and this is my positive X, which is 5. So here we have 5 and minus 2 as U as 5 and minus 2. The next number is 0 and 3. That means X equals to 0 and Y equals to 3. Which means I'll start from here and Y equals to 3. So this is my point V, which is 0 and 3. The next point is W, which is 5 and 0, which means that X equals to 5 but Y equals to what? 0. So Y, the value of Y is 0. So it will lie on the X axis only, right? So this is my X equals to 5 but Y equals to 0. I cannot use Y axis. So W is my 5 and 0. The next is X equals to minus 3 and 0. So X equals to minus 3 and Y equals to what? 0. Can we make it this minus 5, because here it would be too clumsy. So I am here making it minus 6. Alright. So minus 6 and 0 means X should be negative and Y should be 0. So this is my X equals to minus 6 and 0. Right. This is my X point. Now the next is Y equals to 0, 0. So this is my 0, 0. Actually I'm naming it by some other point because already we are using X and Y. So let it be B and let this be as A. Okay. So this is my, so here this is my point A, which is minus 6, 0. And this is my point. This is my point. Let it be O only, because origin normally we take it by O. So this is my O. So this is my point O, which is equals to 0, 0. This one. And the last one is that Z. So this is my point O, which is 0, 0. Z is minus 2 and 1. That means X equals to minus 2 and Y equals to what? 1. Right? So X equals to minus 2, Y equals to 1 I have. So this is my minus 2 and Y equals to 1. So this is my Z minus 2, 1. So this is how we represent point. Now if it is in the same question, if it is being asked that in which quadrant the following point lie, we know that this is my first quadrant, this is my second quadrant, this is my third quadrant, and this is my fourth quadrant, right? So which points lies in which quadrant? I can see that in the first quadrant only one point lies. So if I have to answer, so I'll write in first quadrant. Suppose here I am writing the answer. In first quadrant, which are the points which lies? Only R lies, right? in the second quadrant, which are the point which lies? So in second quadrant you can see Q lies, P lies, and Z lies. Does it lie in the second quadrant? No, it lies on the axis. The points which are like W, A, O, they are not lying in any of the quadrants. They are simply lying on the axes. So here this V, does it lie in any of the quadrant, first quadrant or second quadrant? No. This point is lying on the positive y axis. So you have to write V lies on the positive y axis. So let's talk about first quadrant first. So inside the quadrant you just see, so Q, Z, P, only 3 points. So I'll just write Q, Z, P. Third quadrant, I find only 1 point, which is S, and fourth quadrant I find only 1 point, which is U. Now let's talk about the points which are lying on the axes. Here T lies on where? Negative y axis. T is lying on negative y axis, so I'll write negative y axis. W lies on positive x axis. So here I'll not mention any quadrant. Now here V. So V lies on positive y axis. It doesn't lie in any of the quadrant. And what about the next point, which is A? A lies on negative x axis, and O is at origin, and the coordinate of origin is 0, 0. It doesn't lie in on any of the axis or quadrant. It is the origin, right? So this is how we can figure it out, which points are lying in which of the quadrant. If you have any doubt from this, then you can write it in the chat box. And here I am giving you few assignment questions based on today's topic. Here one point you need to think that any point lying on the x-axis or y-axis doesn't lie in any quadrant. Just now I have explained using this that these doesn't lie on any of the quadrant, right? So based on today's lesson, I have given few questions to you. You need to represent the following points on the graph sheet, and also you have to write in which quadrant they lie. So the points are here. You need to work on it. If you have any doubt, you can write it in the chat box. Subscribe the channel for the latest update, and the link for the notes are there in the description part of the video. Take care.